Director Brito, so now that the courts have ruled that the federal government should at least administer some of the SNAP benefits, what is the timeline for people in Rhode Island to getting their benefits?
It's a great question. We did receive some additional guidance this morning that we're trying to sift through and understand the methodology to the payment structure. So we don't have an exact number or date yet on when individuals can receive that. We are doing some analysis in the system, working with our vendor Deloitte, with our vendor FIS as well. That's how we exchange the information so that the benefits will appear on customers' cards. We'll come through that quickly, but don't have an exact answer as of right now.
What do you have to do on the back end to get that in preparation? If people are going from full benefits to potentially half benefits, I'm assuming that could take some time.
There's some programming, definitely not recoding in the system, but programming. There's scripts that get run, some testing that has to happen to ensure that the methodology that's applied is correct before we send the files to FIS, where the benefits are then issued on the cards.
Once the benefits are heading out the door,
Yes.
How long does that typically take?
Oh, once we send the file and the benefit happens within hours.
Do you have an idea of how much on average people will be getting for partial benefits if that ends up being the case?
Sure, depending on household size. So it's different for each household construction, but the benefit amount will range from $149 to $894, again, depending on the household size.
And has your office received a lot of questions about what's going on in the federal government and what's happening with people's SNAP benefits?
There have been questions that are coming in. I believe we've done a good job with outreach and with partnering with community agencies, and the message is out there, so there's not as many questions coming in. We have information on the websites. We have our SNAP support.ri.gov that's in place to help answer frequently asked questions and direct customers and providers to keep everyone in the loop. So we're not really receiving a lot of questions. I think people are informed of what's happening and using the resources that are in place.
So we know that the governor has deployed about $6 million in temporary assistance for needy family funds. Has that money been distributed, or has it been put on pause because of the partial benefits that the federal courts now ruled at least should be going into effect at some point?
We planned to do 2 issuances, so half of that has already gone out. We committed to 25% on the first for households that had children in them. So that has already gone out, and depending on the timeline that it takes us to implement the half payment using the contingency funds will determine how we go approach the second half of using the TANF surplus funds.
So would there be a possibility that families get the contingency funds plus the half the benefits that the governor deployed? There might be both?
Those conversations are happening now. We did issue the first 25%. So as of this moment, we would be looking to put the 50% of the contingency funds and then making some decisions on utilizing the remainder of the TANF funds.
We've had a lot of questions and calls about senior citizens
Yes.
who necessarily can't even drive themselves or go to the grocery store. What kind of resources are available for them if they need groceries, but they can't go out and get it themselves?
So we partner with our Rhode Island Community Food Bank, United Way 211, and then all of the local municipalities to connect individuals to resources that the towns themselves have in place in this situation. Also in Providence, we know that the Office of Senior Services is offering transportation to food pantries, and individuals living in Providence can utilize 311 for assistance.
Is there any thought of maybe putting some extra money towards senior citizens, like we did with families?
That is on the table, but no decision has been made just yet.
Looking at the Eat Well, Be Well program, we know that can really help families. Will you describe what that is?
I can. The Eat Well, Be Well program can definitely help in this particular time. It allows SNAP households to really stretch their food dollars by rewarding the purchase of healthy foods. So for every dollar spent on qualifying fruits and vegetables at participating stores, customers can earn up to 50 cents on the dollar to increase their access to food benefits.
Tell me about the new work requirements at the federal level.
I can do that. Under the federal law, our able-bodied adults without dependents, also referenced as ABODs, must meet work requirements to receive SNAP benefits for more than 3 months in a 36-month period. Under the new rules, it expands some of the timeframes and the requirements. It narrows some of the exemptions as well. So an ABOD may be exempt from the 3-month time limit if they work on average 20 hours a week or 80 hours in a month. There can be a combination of paid hours as well as voluntary or in-kind hours to meet that requirement. There have been some changes to the exemptions. It limits it parents or caretakers of a dependent child age 14, that was previously 18. There's verified Native Americans or urban Indian individuals defined by our federal law, and those that are physically or mentally unable to be engaged in employment, and there's an exemption for pregnancy as well.
You may be subject to only having SNAP benefits for 3 months.
Correct, if you're not meeting the 20 hours a week or 80 hours a month or one of the exemptions.
When do you expect Rhode Island to put this into place?
There's a lot of complexity to that system change to support a full implementation. So we pushed it out until February of 2026 so that we can start our outreach to the impacted populations in December. But the system itself will support noticing to customers and the new exemptions as well as requirements in February of 2026.
As of February 1st, how will this impact SNAP recipients or people who are applying for SNAP?
As the rules change, the new individuals that now need to meet that requirement will come in. We'll do outreach to that group. I believe there's approximately 5,300 additional Rhode Islanders that will become subject to the work requirements, and about 4,000 we anticipate will lose their previous exemptions. So we're taking additional time to implement the rules, the new rules, in February, so we can outreach and engage those customers to see if they have different activities that would allow them to meet new exemptions, but we will implement the new rules all at once to the population.
When you say 4,000 people that will have to need to meet these work requirements, is there a possibility that they lose their benefits if they don't meet these work requirements?
They could if they're not engaged in either work, volunteer, or in-kind hours.
How long do you anticipate how long will that take?
So implementing the new rules in February, we would see if folks are not engaged in any activity that's countable, we would see probably by May, we'd start to see some folks potentially lose benefits.
Wow. I want to switch gears to the Head Start. So we know that many families and children rely on Head Start in Rhode Island. How many families does Head Start currently serve?
Sure, there are 2,435 children in Head Start. In the actual Head Start system, 1,760 of these children are in Head Start, while 675 of them are in early Head Start.
Wow. And so with the government shutdown, we know Rhode Island has done a good job about keeping Head Start open.
Yeah.
We know that one system was on the brink potentially of being closed, but there was extra funds. Can you just describe that for us?
I can. I mean, it does vary by program. Federal funding flows directly to each Head Start provider based on its individual grant cycle. And the one that you mentioned, their grant cycle was up, I believe it was 10/31, but there was enough reserve funds to really sustain for at least another month or so. That's true with another one of our grant cycles. It's expected to end at the end of December, but otherwise we do have all Head Start programs continue to receive supplemental state funding from DHS, and we don't expect that to be impacted by the federal shutdown. Even the one I referenced, that their grant cycle ends at the end of December, we feel as though there's enough surplus to be able to sustain the program without interruption.
Oh, so past December 31st, even if the government shutdown is still going on, there still be enough funding to keep them afloat for some time?
Yes.
Great. Is there anything else I missed that you wanted to add about SNAP or Head Start, any other programs that you're feeling that are being impacted?
There are no other impacts to the human service programs. All of our offices are open. We are running our TANF programs, Medicaid, all of our other programs remain active, as well as SNAP. But we'd encourage folks to continue to apply, definitely if we have sent any correspondence, something, if an individual receives any information from us in the mail, to please read it. Provide any verifications that we are looking for, asking for, so that we can continue to keep cases accurate, so when everything resumes, there's no lapse. I would also encourage individuals to check for fraud. Unfortunately, bad actors do come out at a time like this, so looking at the resources that are in place, going to our website, going to our snapsupportri.gov to report fraud or any activity that seems suspicious. I would encourage individuals to do that.